Stephen Nitah, Suljere, Dene Sontine, Dene Nations in den. Thoughts on then. Signé don't dire, nous c'est moi c'est le chimie. Donc c'est le bon ainsi. Yeah, the Mohawk nen kedit ici, il must hear the chimie. My name is Stephen Nitah. I'm a Dene Sontine person from the Dene Nation of the Northwest Territories. I'm a former chief, former MLA, current negotiator and advisor to the Indigenous Leadership Initiative. I just want to acknowledge that we are on the Haudenosaunee and Mohawk territory, ancestral lands and jurisdiction. We say that too often without really starting to understand what it means these days. So I'm going to add something to this. Today, I acknowledge that I'm on Mohawk territory, and I hand over my Section 35 rights in exchange for the privileges that the Mohawk may want to give me if I wanted to exercise my way of life in their territory. The Government of Canada gave all Indigenous people rights. In exchange, they took away their responsibility to their territories. And the work I do is in support of Indigenous nations reclaiming their responsibilities to their territories and to the people that live in those territories. In that frame of mind, I'm not an anti-miner. I'm not a pro-miner. What I do is I support Indigenous nations make their own decisions on their own territories. If they want to get into mining, I help them get into mining. I negotiated impact benefit agreements, 3 of them. I helped start a mine at one time, Diavik Diamond Mines. We should understand when we're talking about when we say mining. There's 2 types of mining. There's only one type of mining, I guess, but there's 2 main characters in that industry. There's the exploration companies, there's the small junior companies that go look for minerals, and if they're lucky enough, they usually sell that property rights to the big boys, the miners with money. So who are we talking about when we're talking about this subject matter? The juniors are the most problematic because they're everywhere. They're running roughshod and everything. They really don't respect laws. So you should know who you're dealing with when you're dealing with mineral interests in your territories. For an example, a few years ago when I was a chief in 2009, my people were quite concerned with the level of interest by mineral exploration in the eastern part of our territory. They were looking for uranium. Little junior companies making all kinds of noises, getting the federal and territorial governments all excited, my people all excited. The way I dealt with that junior company is I went to see Cameco, the largest uranium mining company. And I said, these guys are causing too much problems. Why don't you just buy them out and sit on those properties for a period of time until my people are ready to engage you as a mining company. They did that, the noise died. That area has not been touched since then. So that's one way. Also recognizing and understanding which mining companies or exploration companies you're dealing with. Who's funding them? And one thing I used to say as a chief quite often is that I may not have much control, but I do have a lot of control over creating uncertainty. Uncertainty for investors. So go directly to the investors and inform them that their investment might not be a good investment for returns on investment. That's another way. But I think the most important and powerful way you can manage interest in your territories is by developing land relationship plans, also known as land use plans. I say relationships. Acknowledges that Mother Earth is alive, that we need to have a relationship with Mother. What type of relationships and where? Developing these land relationship plans is a pure expression of jurisdiction of your territories. You allow others to understand what you expect of them in their lives and their actions in your territories. So that's what I do. I work with Indigenous nations across the country, working with them in defining their responsibilities again to their territories and to the people in the 7 generations to come. That is the best type of help we can provide Indigenous nations the world over. We need to help them reestablish their jurisdiction and their responsibility to territories. Then we could leave and walk away and they continue doing what they do. Every other mechanism is we're fishing for them and teaching them and feeding them. Those days should be gone. It should be gone from the provincial, federal, or state governments. It should be gone from corporate entities. It should be gone from the philanthropic community. We need to empower Indigenous nations to be who they are as they were put here on earth by the Creator, to do what they do in the territories that they were placed. I'm not an academic, I'm not a researcher. I got kicked out of high school 3 months before graduation. It's probably the best thing that ever happened to me, because I could question things unbounded by those teachings. I could view things that have happened today and make connections that academics can't, because you guys are bounded by the teachings, and a lot of teachings by the people that won the wars or the events of the day. Those teachings, in a lot of cases, are reflective of what they want you to learn and what they want you to espouse out into the world. I'm not limited by that. So what I'm saying to you now is, if you want to assist Indigenous peoples in their territories, acknowledge that it's their territories and they have their ultimate responsibility, and the only thing you can do is help them in which direction they want to go. Merci.